This is it, the brand new 2011 Suzuki GSXR600. And although she may look quite similar to last year's model, there is so many changes you won't believe it. And anyway, I've had this bike for 2 weeks to give me a really good opinion on it. And I decided to go on a nice long ride today with Alan the cameraman, and guess what? We found ourselves here at Brands Hatch. Thanks to the lovely people at Focused Events, they've let us come into the pit lane and have a bit of time in the paddock to talk you through exactly what we think about this bike. So the new GSXR600, there's so many changes to this bike, it's incredible, and yet it still, obviously, looks like most GSXRs from the last 10 years. Don't let that fool you though. I mean, I love the old machine, it was great, it was usable, rideable, but it lacked a lot of the real feedback and top-end excitement you want from a race bike. So we've had a lot of beginner supersport riders would go for the GSXR or the CBR600RR, probably the two better road bikes, but as you got more confidence and more skill, you might be looking at the ZX6R or the R6 as they, I think, provide a lot more of the actual kind of on-track feel. Anyway, let's kick off with the big new changes for this year. 9 kilograms lighter for a start, which is a huge difference when you consider the bike itself only weighs, what, 187 kilograms. That makes a lot of difference. And you'd think with that lightness, maybe they had to sacrifice some power, some torque. No. Most powerful GSXR600 jet, 125 brake horsepower and 51 pound-per-foot of torque. And that's pretty impressive for a tiny little four-cylinder 600cc Supersport engine in there. Big new feature this year on the GSXR is, of course, they show up big piston front forks, man. They provide so much more feedback, definitely taking away some of that slightly staid feeling the old bike had. Yeah, it was comfortable and nice, but this allows you to actually feel a little bit more in the corners, and you can get it a bit more on edge. Not to take away from the fact it's still a very comfortable, easy to ride and usable bike, but for those people who are looking for, as I say, more trackability like you get on the R6 or the ZX6R, definitely improves the handling. As I say, it's got a tighter chassis, it's lighter, all of that coming together really improves that kind of whole handling package. Front brakes, look at those Brembos on the front. Those things stop this like nobody's business. No ABS yet, which is something I'd like to see as an option on all of these bikes, but soon I'm sure that will come in. Okay, the engine, now I touched on it earlier, but it produces 125 brake horsepower with 51 pound-foot of torque. That's incredible for a super sports machine. And while this may have been one of the more tamer 600s on the market, they've definitely made it feel a lot more lively this year. There's a lot more mid-range and low-down torque. It really, really does feel snarly down there, but yet it still wants to be revved up, and it redlines at 15,500 revs. Added to that engine with more low down and mid-range torque is a close ratio gearbox. So you really will find yourself pulling away from a lot of other 600s and bigger bikes than this from the lights, but it does lose out a little bit on the top end compared to, say, an R6 or a ZX6R. Another great thing about this year's GSXR, it's got to be the best sounding one ever. The induction noise this thing makes, even low down, is brilliant, and once you get up, yeah, it's a bit deeper and a bit throatier than a lot of other 600s, but it growls like a beast. Other key features include this baby coming at insurance group 15, and brand new now, she's £8,900, which seems a lot when I remember buying an R6 a few years ago in the 600s around the £7,000 mark, but that's not bad when you think that it's a bike that will do 160 odd miles an hour, not 60 in stupid o'clock, and genuinely will outperform anything else on the road. So in other words, this is an incredible machine. If you're new to the super sport stroke 600 market, I definitely recommend it along with the CBR600RR as the two most usable machines. You'll have more fun on the track on the Quacker and on the R6 and on the Triumph Daytona 675, but for a bike on the road to get you feeling like Rossi, this is the one.